Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports. What's up, everybody? This is your boy Ray Eaton from Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, celebrating a half a decade this season as we keep on giving you all the best sports talk show in the country. We might not be the best, but we do have the highest rating out there, 5 stars on Apple and on Spotify. So give us some ratings whenever you're listening to the show as well. All you gotta do is hop on your app and do that. We're just some neighborhood friends getting together every week talking about some sports. This week we are talking about Week 5 college football, just looking back on Week 5, and then we're gonna give you the best highlights from Week 6 coming up as well. We are only here because you subscribe to the show, so share the show with your friends, subscribe to the show, let them know that this is a great show to listen to. You can join our Facebook group as well and get involved in the conversation. Check us out, guysatthebartalkingsports.com, and we have a really bad drinking habit, so if you want to support that drinking habit, you can do that as well. Venmo, at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. You can send $1, you can send $10, you can send $1,000, I don't care, you know? I know, right?
Don't be negative and put a bad annotation on it.
Yeah, that's a good drinking problem.
I'm talking with my mouth full because of all this delicious charcuterie.
I could do so much with what's going on right now, and I won't.
Yes. Hey, we are going to go ahead and thank one of our listeners for the charcuterie board tonight.
Yes.
It is delicious. Thank you, Amy. And like I said, you want to support the show, Venmo, at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. You can do that. And then let's go ahead and jump into some conversations here. But first, we will do the intros. We have my favorite female on the show, Cheeks.
Yes.
How you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous.
Great to hear. And then we also have the Rebel.
Hello.
Happy about his App State Mountaineers, I'm sure.
Yeah, considering I didn't play.
I know. Yeah.
They didn't lose either.
That's a good week for you right there. We also have the Mountain Man himself, the Mountaineer.
Or Mountain
You're
Mama.
wearing an Orioles shirt or Orioles hat today, okay? All right, I see that. So how are they doing in baseball this year?
They just lost 1-0 in Game 1 of the wild card of the Royals.
All right, so
Thank you for bringing that up.
no problem.
Forgot that the Royals had a team. Sorry, buddy.
We got our man freshly back from Hawaii. Missed last week because he was on a business meeting to Hawaii for the Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, trying to get us in with the coaches down there at University of Hawaii, I'm sure, so he could come out there and do some shows with them. Is that why you went out there?
It was a failed mission. The beach was calling. The mountains were calling. The turtles were calling. But the coach of the University of Hawaii was not calling.
Oh, man! I am so sad about that, but soon we will be in with the coach of the University of Hawaii. They're going to pay us to come out there and do interviews with them, I'm sure, one day.
Have you seen where they play football? They ain't paying for shit.
Touche, sir. Touche.
Next time I'll go to the Big Island instead of one of the smaller islands where the university actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You were in Mount. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check
All right.
your investment property over there, over the rock.
Last week, we had some great football. Probably the
Yes.
biggest instant classic of the season, I'm sure. We'll talk about that Alabama game versus Georgia. But the first thing I want to talk about this week is Ryan Williams from Alabama. That dude is insane.
If they address him as the 17-year-old one more time,
That drives me nuts,
I'm like,
yeah.
the kid has a name.
I'm hoping that he turns 18 soon. Let's just say that. You know, that's all I care. But this guy is like a pretzel. The way he could twist and turn and get that ball, man, it is insane.
That means he's got to wait 2 more years to play pro, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's age-based, not years.
Yeah, but he's a freshman, right?
It's 2 years out of high school. 2 years out of high school.
How is he
No, I
2
think
years?
I think it's
You have to be
20.
2 years out of high school to play NFL football.
No, but I think you got to be. It's an
think
age.
it's
It's an
20.
age requirement too.
Okay, gotcha. So this
Usable.
guy's just insane, though. It was great to watch somebody that 17 years old do so much. But then again, the dude don't look 17. What is he, 6'4"? And just
Kids these days they look like grown men when they're playing college.
Steroids in the chicken, boys. Steroids in the chicken.
it was just
Drink your milk.
Yeah.
I just had fun watching that game, but watching him, it was just like I sure wish that he was on the Florida Gators. Let's just say that.
Well, and the score that they take the lead on. How can you be a starting Division I Power 4 national champion DB and tackle like that? Both of them, he had 2 people there, and it wasn't like he just broke their ankles. It's less like they kind of grabbed at him and let him go. And I'm like, just make the tackle. Just tackle the guy.
He looked like Kermit the Frog. Like, like his arms were up. He had no idea where the ball was. I mean, bottom line, that's a big pass. He got lost. Game
Big pass, great catch.
Yep.
But again, he
And
ran 25 yards with 2 defenders within 2 feet of him. I'm like, tackle him.
They could have just pushed him out of bounds.
Yeah, they just shoved him. But anyway, neither here nor there. What happened, and it was a great game.
Oh, it was insane. Yeah.
Well, do we really want to call it? Let's be honest. Do we want to call it a great game or a great fourth quarter?
Great second half.
Because it's 30-7 at halftime. That is not the definition of a great game. Now it got tight. That last 4 minutes.
Now, if you're an Alabama fan, it's a great game, 30-7. But
Yeah,
still,
I mean, that last 4 minutes was maybe the best performance we're going to see all year.
Yeah.
But the way it went down. But let's be honest, that Georgia team in the first half, that's probably more so the Georgia team that's really the Georgia team. They were overmatched. They weren't prepared. Now, granted, they made some defensive adjustments because we heard Georgia coach
Kirby Smart.
We heard him say going into he told Holly Rowe, he's like, we saw him lining up middle row, 5 wide, empty set. That's new. So you knew right out the gate he'd already figured it out, and it showed in the second half. But also Alabama got real conservative as far as running the same play over and over. But then they got real silly by snapping the ball with 25 seconds still on the play clock. They didn't try to burn any clock in the second half. So kind of a weird approach from Alabama's side. But
Yeah, conservative play calling, but then you're sitting there hiking the ball 25, 30 seconds on the play
and
clock.
you're running the same 3 plays, running back to the side. Jalen Monroe keeps it, goes to the corner, and they just kept it.
What made that game great beginning to end? That was a chess match. I mean, you spotted somebody 21 points and you figured them out enough to take the lead in the fourth quarter, 28, and then figured out a way to take the lead in that game.
That's all Kirby Smart.
I think Georgia scored 19 points in the third quarter, getting them close to within range of being a tie it up.
It was 33-15 going in the fourth quarter.
Going into
So they only scored 8 points.
It was 19 points in the fourth quarter.
But to kind of digress for a second about this game, somebody mentioned to me today, I said, oh, Lord, don't talk like that. I said, so how does this play out if now, say, Georgia beats Tennessee, Tennessee beats Alabama, and Ole Miss wins out? How does that? But now you got 4 1-loss
And Texas.
in Texas. Everybody forgets about Texas.
No, Ole Miss is going to lose this weekend.
Ole Miss, we figured. My man called it. Ole Miss is a little bit of smoke and mirrors, but
So if Ole Miss happens to win out, Kentucky Kentucky beats them. Let's say Kentucky loses to Alabama, Tennessee, or
we've already lost to South Carolina. It doesn't matter.
Kentucky's out.
No, I'm not saying Kentucky's in. I'm saying that I think that's how they're going to figure out. If there's 4 1-loss teams,
That's
Ole
a bad
Miss-
loss. So that's where
a terrible loss.
a lot of the talks are going on right now is, if you're a Georgia fan, is this a good loss? If you're a true Georgia fan, no such thing as a good loss. So no. But as far as when you're looking at the 12-team playoffs, the way they came back at the end, it's going to be looked at favorably. If they win out,
you could argue it's a good loss because now, let's say Georgia wins out, they're the 5 seed playing the group of 5 12 winner in their first game.
And it's expected to have that. I mean, one of the teams is going to lose. Both of them were ranked in the top 5 going into that game, right? Or top 4 going into that game. Georgia's now number 5. Like, when you have number 2 playing number 4, I mean, someone's going to lose, obviously, but then it's not that big of a deal. Yeah,
I get it, but I still cannot erase the first 3 quarters of that game. Georgia, there's a lot said about Georgia in that game, and they've got issues.
Do you think it's a discipline issue? And the reason why I say it's just all the arrests that are going on, all the speeding fines.
I think it's
all that stuff.
an Alabama issue. Kirby Smart's 1-8,
1-6.
I mean. It's an Alabama issue, but there's something about
It can't just be Alabama.
Yeah, because we used to say it was
that's
the same.
been their problem, though.
Yeah, but we said it was Saban before. New coach comes in, smacks Kirby in the mouth harder. I think 2 things. I think number 1, Kirby didn't. He went into halftime against an Alabama. You can't wait until halftime.
Right.
Call a couple timeouts, gather the troops, look at some of the plays and see what's going on, and make adjustments as fast as you can. Once they've done it once, twice. You got to stop after that 2 times part. You can't wait till halftime and say, we're going to make our adjustments and come all the way back. Now, amazingly, they did come all the way back. Couldn't hold it, but even still, I think that Kirby Smart needs to look at his staff and say, you need to make adjustments faster. We can't wait for half where we can collectively look at it, be Kirby smarter.
So the staff needs to be just the staff. The coaches on the offense, defense need to figure things out a little bit quicker.
Yeah, Kirby Smart's the head coach.
Yeah.
It is not his job.
Of course not.
It's his job to point at somebody and say, figure it out,
Figure
and
it
then
out,
agree
yeah.
with them or disagree with them.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's the head coach. He's going to manage
But
the game.
I just think Georgia. I think this talk a couple weeks ago about them being all world and there's Georgia and then there's everybody else. I don't think that's true. I think
Well,
Georgia
we
has
just
a lot
saw
of-
this not true because
There's
they
issues
got,
there.
2
they
weeks in a
got
row.
stomped in the first half.
And
And
2
they
weeks
have,
in a row.
and by the way, they got to go to Texas, and there's 2 better quarterbacks than Jalen Milroe play down there.
Yeah.
So
And-
it's not looking up for Georgia's.
I think that what I saw in that first half of the Georgia game was their quarterback play.
We said that at the start of the year that
And who was the one who ended the game for Georgia?
Yeah,
It was
so,
Beck.
So I mean,
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
two interceptions that he threw where it was clear line of sight to the person, and God bless the commentators. They tried to cover it all up, and he's like, "Yeah, they really fooled the guy. Dropped back in a defensive linebacker set, and Beck threw the ball right in the
the
numbers.
second one was
Yep.
right, too.
Right, I mean, right at him. So I mean, I get it. Again, you can get blinders on when you're trying to look for one thing, but that was the difference for me. Was in that first half, it wasn't necessarily they played bad. It was that they started getting momentum, and then they would turn the ball over.
They said, I think it was on College Game Day. They said that for Carson Beck last year, he had the people around him to make him a great quarterback. This year, he needs to be the person that makes his receivers great, and he's not that guy.
Nope,
No.
he is not.
I think we found that out. Now, given they did score 19 points in the fourth quarter, and that was due to him doing what he needs to do. So he was able to, under pressure, make some plays and get things to happen. And then all of a sudden, as soon as he makes something happen, they did go up in the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden, boom, the defense for Georgia kind of fell apart. And they Alabama scored on the next play, I think it was. Right after that.
I put that on Alabama. That last touchdown that Georgia scored to put him up was a blown coverage. The guy was wide open by 20 yards.
Well, that happens. I mean,
But
that
again,
happens.
I'm not like poo-pooing all over Georgia. Georgia's still one of the best teams in the country. But I just feel like a lot of that got Georgia back into it was Alabama. They got soft. I don't think Kellen DeBoer. I don't know. I mean, I sing his praises. I think he's a good coach, but they got to shape up on big leads. Put the foot on the throat and keep it there. Like, I think they let up a little bit, and that gave Georgia life.
I don't disagree with you. I'll just say that, man, you're a coach that just played in the national championship last year. This is the biggest game that you played in the biggest school in college football, arguably, and you got a 30-7 lead against Kirby Smart.
You can't hold it.
Wait, well, no. What goes through your mind? What goes through your mind? What goes through my mind is, we're going to run the ball every single play, and I don't care if I get 1 yard every play. I'm going to try to run as much clock out as I can. But yeah,
agreed.
You're going to run the clock down.
But in the same breath, take a snap with 25 seconds left on the clock. That's what you're going to do.
No. I mean, you milk it down.
I'm just always go back to the well that keeps feeding you water. Don't change what you're doing.
The one play they ran, like they did in the first half, they scored a touchdown and won the game.
As
soon as they opened it back up, touchdown. But
I was just perplexed by the multiple plays where there's 25 seconds and they're hiking the
me
ball.
too. I did
It
notice that
just,
too.
I'm sitting there like, what the hell is he doing? Because there's like 3 minutes and 48 seconds left. You could have ran it down to 2 minutes.
Well, did you hear Herb
off those
Street?
3 plays?
Did you hear Herb Street? He said that Jalen Miller is only comfortable in a hurry up offense.
Yeah.
You got to do something about that.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't.
And you got a coach from the Pac-12. They don't know how to slow down either.
That's true.
It's a bad combination.
All right, let's move on from this game and talk about the biggest controversy of the week.
Oh, God.
Cheeks, all right? Did you get to watch that Miami-Virginia Tech game? I feel like I was sitting next to you at a bar.
Yes,
while that
we
game
were.
was going on.
You were at MJ.
Yeah, we were at MJ's watching
Well,
that game.
before that, we didn't see that part at NJ's. We were at an event.
An event,
We were at an
okay.
event.
Yeah, so
I was at MJ's.
So a 38-34 win for Miami. Miami
Yeah.
absolutely needed that win to stay relevant for the season, I would say.
Yeah.
Just because they're either in the ACC. The ACC is not a dominant conference this season. Somebody's got to win the ACC, so someone's going to be in the playoffs. But there might not be another team from the ACC in the playoffs. And Miami, at that last call, I mean, they're down by, what was it?
No, Miami was
No,
winning.
Miami was winning.
It was a
That's right.
Hail Mary by Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech was, had a Hail Mary.
Sitting in the Maui airport, about to get on the plane, and the Hail Mary goes up, and I had to walk away to get on the plane, and then I look at my phone, and it's controversy everywhere. So I missed the actual play. Had to watch
did,
it.
Complete
Okay.
chaos.
Had to watch replay.
And it was hard to see, really was, but they did call it
A touchdown
as a
on
touchdown.
the field. It's got to be indisputable. Look, if you're going
And all there is disputable.
if you were going to overturn that call and put all the conspiracies, you've got to give a detailed reason. I mean, looking at that play 1,000 times, I swear I feel like I did. The only way that is not a Virginia Tech touchdown is if they said while he was sitting on the ground, he didn't have control and his butt is out of bounds, and then he gathered it. That's the only way that's not a catch.
And that's what I thought they were going to say.
But then the thing, if that's why you overturned it, you got to say that. He was sitting out of bounds when he got control of the ball, and a lot of this crap goes away. But they just said, nope. Overturn it. It's not a touchdown. Move
Do you
on.
know? Did you look at the referee? Did you look in his
Do you-
eyes when he said it? Did you look
He
in
was
his eyes when he
scared.
said it? He was not leaving that stadium that night.
Yeah.
If he would have had to spend the night in the stadium with security around
if
him.
he calls that a touchdown.
But that's not his first controversy in Miami either.
Really? Okay.
That's
tell me
his
more.
second one.
Okay.
So there was a previous game about 7 years ago?
With Duke.
And yeah, and he did the
the
same
laterals?
type of thing where it was the laterals, and it was very controversial.
Yeah.
He called in Miami's favor again, and
Okay.
Have you been to Miami? University of Miami is beautiful. Outside of University of Miami,
the Court Gables is not
Yeah.
the greatest area.
Yeah, but they were playing in the stadium that the Miami
It's even
Dolphins
worse
played
part
in.
of town.
Exactly.
Which is even worse than town. Yeah,
no,
not
it's
exactly.
not as bad. Not as bad.
Yeah, I mean that area generally around the
yeah.
Hard Rock Stadium is generally nice, but it's still Miami, and it's a little lawless down there and so forth. I
He's being nice.
mean, yeah.
Davies a rough place.
Yeah.
It's not as rough as Coral Gables area, but yeah, I mean, but again, but Miami.
Can you feel for the ref?
I can feel for the ref.
Like
No, I
if
can't.
look,
If he didn't make a
your
good
life
call,
is on-
I don't feel
if
bad for him.
potentially your life and your family's
Oh, I
life.
don't believe that. Come on,
It's on the line.
Miami fan base. I might get beat up. The Miami fan base is worthless.
Uh-oh.
Their fan base at a Miami game, they're nothing. Now they have Miami fans everywhere. They're everywhere and they're passionate. But Go watch. Look, the stands are half full. They don't even fill the stands.
Worthless is aggressive.
I just thought they're whining cheese.
wondering who they just yelling
Wait,
at.
do I hear some former Big East rivalry stuff coming in out of his voice?
A little bit. Yeah.
Still mad about the what was his name? Major. What was it? Your West Virginia quarterback, Major. What was his name?
Harris.
Major Harris. Yeah, Miami went in there. And beat
No,
him.
we didn't play. We didn't play Miami then. But
I do think that I don't know. It's just like Miami fans. If that stadium was not that empty during that game on Thursday.
there was a lot of Virginia Tech fans there.
There was what?
A lot of Virginia Tech fans.
Virginia Tech travels well.
Oh, that's
everybody
Florida.
knows
Everybody
that.
lives there.
Everybody travels well to Miami. They go spend all weekend at South Beach.
I guess what I'm saying is I think the ref. There were two things. One, when that play happened, nobody made a call for like 30 seconds. They just kind of stood there and looked at each other. No one.
Oh, they did. Okay.
I
Held
wasn't
their
sure what
breath.
the call
Yeah.
even was. And then when the ref gave that final call,
Yeah.
he didn't look scared. He didn't look convinced. Like, I was told to make this call. That's what
Just
I got.
remember that there
Okay.
is replay specialists
right.
that are calling out the game and telling them
Well,
what they see as
he
well.
didn't-
So it is what it is. The point being is they called a touchdown on the field. There was not indisputable evidence, in my opinion, to overturn it. And if there were, you need to relay that message.
And we wouldn't be if there was indisputable evidence. We wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Right, that's right.
Because how often have we talked about bad calls that were?
We got a
that were
referee
overturned?
problem, apparently.
We
Got
got
a
a
referee.
referee.
Football's got a ref problem.
Did somebody say that?
I've heard someone say it.
A million times. But on the bright side, Virginia Tech's coach was so classy about the whole thing. He said, it broke our boys' hearts, but I hope that they got it right.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything mean, nasty.
Yeah, I mean, the underlying tone is that we've already lost to Vanderbilt. Give it over to Miami.
And what kind of fire does it light under your ass when you're that team going back home? You know, to is it where's
I don't know.
Blacksburg? Yeah, I was about to say
Well,
Fredericksburg.
the problem is Virginia Tech was in the conversation to win the ACC, and they have dramatically underperformed thus
Yes.
far this year.
Yeah.
And now that's kind of one of those staple wins that kind of could possibly go, oh, you just came out of the gate slow, and then that got taken away from them too. That's a bad taste.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
There's
what.
a-
I watched that game. Virginia Tech played the better game on the field. I'm not going to say
Absolutely
that they
they
did the better team. They played the better game on the field. They were bringing it to Miami. It would not surprise me if Virginia Tech upsets other teams in the ACC this year. I haven't looked at their schedule, but I believe they do play Louisville. I'm worried because I marked that as a win against Syracuse. That's Syracuse beating Virginia Tech. Now I don't have that marked as a win because that's a big question mark because the boys can play.
Yep.
I mean, Virginia Tech, that was their first ACC game of the year, right? Yeah, so that's one. They're 0-1 in the ACC. They can win out. You never gonna happen. I mean,
Never know. All right, so last
They're going to beat Florida State in the ACC. Let's put it like that.
I was listening to another show today, and they said, so DJ Alphabet broke his finger, so he's out for a couple weeks. What if all of a sudden this backup turns it around and he's just starts smoking people? That would be kind of
sadly,
Boy can't do worse.
sadly, as a Florida Gators fan, I hope it does not happen because I'm freaking loving their 1-3 record right now.
What's making you feel better? Is that what you're saying, Ray?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, sometimes you just have to be happy that things are going bad for people. Okay,
I hear you.
you know. All right, so
I got a short list of that.
last week we were talking about a team that that is one-dimensional. They only have the running game, and that's Michigan, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think Minnesota sort of figured that out. We were able to stop the run a little bit, but they still lost to Michigan. But Michigan barely squeaked that out. Michigan is not a top 15 team, although they are top.
No.
They're number
No.
12 right now, I think.
So two things. From the get-go, I said Michigan was not going to be that very good this year. They're proving that. Number two is I told you early on, Minnesota always gives one or two good teams a game just because that's just what they do. Minnesota should have won the game, truth be known. But no, Michigan, right now they're sitting in their coaches' meetings going, "What? Whoa." You know, we're going to. They're going to lose 2 or 3 games this year.
I would say the Michigan Trust is probably getting a bunch of money to buy a quarterback next year.
They need
Yes.
a court. Yeah, they need somebody.
That's what they
No,
need.
the Prez from Barstool has already put up $3 million.
I saw that.
Portnoy. He's a huge Michigan guy. He's like, we will not deal with this again next year.
Right.
Wow.
I heard he joked he's going to buy Manning. I'm like, get out of here.
Okay,
Bye,
but
man.
I did not see the onside kick. So you guys recap it for me. What?
So I'll be honest with you, I went away from that game thinking it was over, but I understand there was some controversy with that as well. Is that right?
Yeah, it
There
was
but
offside.
I didn't get to see
It
that
was
part. I was
offsides.
watching different
Yeah.
games.
But was it
throughout the day.
offsides? Was my understanding. I understand.
Exactly, it was another
Hey, somebody
referee.
told me we have a referee problem.
I'm telling you, man.
I mean, things like that happen, but
Not when you got reviews, not when you
Michigan
have
has
reviews.
much worse problems than that. The biggest problem they have is the fact that they don't have a quarterback. All they can do is run, and everyone that's going to figure that out. I mean, they're not going to beat Iowa. I mean, they're going to have a hard time against like a team like Iowa with a good defense. They'd have a hard time against a team like Nebraska with a good run defense. They're going to be able to run all over Oregon probably. I don't know if they're playing them.
I don't know.
After-
They are, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So we played 4 games this far this year, right? Okay. Every game moving forward, I don't care if you're good, bad, or indifferent. If you're playing Michigan, you pack the box, you go man over the top, and you go, if this quarterback beats us, he beats us. But they will not run the ball down our throats. That will not happen.
Yep.
And if teams do that, even bad teams, like Purdue's not very good. Even if Purdue, they'll lose 14-10, 14-7, something like that. If you just say, look, we will not lose because of the run, and they beat you, they go, all right, great, the boy figured it out. But that's what you got to do in Michigan right now, because that quarterback is that, I hate saying it, because these are kids. Keep in mind, these are kids
He's
playing
a good
a game.
athlete.
He's a great athlete. He is not a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not a fit for their
Not at all.
offensive scheme.
He would be a really good Service Academy quarterback.
So last week, one of the things I put on the title to our show is Week 5 No Upsets ? Right?
Oh.
And I put foot and mouth on that because Kentucky beats Ole Miss and Arizona beats Utah. That's Arizona beating Utah to me isn't that much of a surprise.
No, they said Kentucky, Ole Miss.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
I agree.
Utah has their backup quarterback,
Right, there you go.
Isaac
That's it.
Wilson.
There you go.
So-
Utah's probably been the same problem it seems like they've had now for 24 years while the quarterback's been there. They prepare all year long to have, what's his name?
Cam Rising.
Cam Rising's their quarterback, and he can throw the ball. We know this. They prepare all summer, going into the season, they're going to have him as a quarterback, and then he gets hurt every
3
freaking
games in,
year.
yeah,
And then he's
exactly.
done, so now you're having to try to figure this out with a backup. I mean, that's the problem is they have no continuity on that team. They got talent, but they don't have any
And
continuity.
they've never had the same back. It's kind of a weird problem. Some teams on the same quarterback every year. They don't have the same backup quarterback every year. So they got a new backup comes in every time.
Yeah, continuity problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And where did the backups go?
He transferred to Utah State. He was a
Yeah.
pig farmer, I think is what he was.
Well, here's the thing is, Cam
Well, they
Rising
go where
gets
they can
hurt.
play.
Yeah.
No, Cam Rising gets hurt. A backup comes in. He shows out a little bit, and then the NIL money is greater somewhere else.
Yep.
And so he's
Well,
gone.
there is money.
That's fair.
And they just waited on Cam Rising to be healthy for a season. And it just
The guy got ran into a water cooler. It's a freak accident what happened to him. He got hit, laid out of bounds, ran into a water cooler, and broke his middle finger or something like that. That's what happened against Baylor. So it's
Sad
almost
day.
like it's not meant to be for this guy.
No, it just seems like God is trying to say.
Buddy, get your
give it
degree.
a-
Go sell a car.
Get your master's degree. You've been here for 8 years and go get a job.
Yeah.
It better be his throwing hand if we're talking about a finger here. Okay.
I think it is.
Okay. All right.
So-
I can do
Right,
that.
because if it's not.
Yeah, if it's not, then
That's just throwing hand.
All right.
So one of us was in Hawaii freaking drinking pina coladas and shit. And
sure
probably
it was.
didn't get to
Mai
watch-
tais.
Mai tais.
Yeah.
Probably didn't
Did it have a rainbow umbrella in the top of it?
Maybe.
probably-
And,
Flour layer around it, okay?
and
And guess what?
Enjoyed every second of it.
Delicious.
So he probably wasn't able to watch as much football on Saturday because you were traveling back home, right? But Kentucky Ole Miss was a pretty darn good game to watch. Kentucky wins 2017. We kind of, I think one of us, was it you that said that, Mountaineer, that Kentucky's going to win this game?
I didn't say that Kentucky would win, but I said that Ole Miss would get exposed.
Yeah, and you did. That's right. You said eventually they're going to expose. You didn't specifically say. Well, Kentucky exposed them. I mean, Ole Miss is supposed to have the best offense in the country, and they were only able to put up 17 points against Kentucky. That's sad.
Well,
and it actually dropped from the Heisman list. Down, their quarterback dropped from like Jackson Dart dropped from like number 2 down to like number 10.
So there's 2 things to take away from that game on both sides of this. Number one, Ole Miss isn't as good as they've been sold, and they seem to that seems to happen with every Lane Kiffin team that he ever coaches. That might be your Gators next year, so just chew on that for a minute.
He's not going to the Gators.
But number 2 is this. What I've come back around to is this. I kind of stepped back because you got a little bit more of a body of work. Was the South Carolina game a fluke with Kentucky? That they just kind of sashayed in here thinking they were going to win the game, and South Carolina caught them by surprise because, they took Georgia to 13-12. They just beat Ole Miss.
And
Kentucky ain't as bad. Is it Kentucky's not as bad as we thought, or is Carolina that much better than Kentucky, or a little bit of both?
I think they're both.
blew it up on them, man. What was it, 34 points or something?
31-6,
Destroyed it.
yeah.
That game was over at halftime.
And if it wasn't for a referee problem, I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yeah, right.
They would have beat LSU.
LSU.
Correct.
Right.
And a quarterback injury. Aside from the referees, if
That's
Sellers
true.
doesn't get hurt, South Carolina is undefeated going into play.
We
the
wouldn't have
Ole
had a
Miss this
referee
week.
problem if Sellers would.
But about this one, I think if you're Lane Kiffin or if you're if you're running an academic or a sports program at a school, you look at their first 4 games. They didn't play anybody in the top 80.
Nope.
Correct.
And we're talking about how they're the most explosive. They scored 80 points on Furman for crying out loud.
I guess you should be putting up 80 points against Furman.
I should certainly
Yeah.
hope so.
Yeah.
So maybe this is a lesson learned as you're setting your schedules is you need to sprinkle in some salt and pepper into that program in the beginning. Now, some of these schools, they go and they make or break in their whole season on the first game. I don't know if I agree with that one. but maybe you should play I don't know, a MAC team
At least
or
one.
something. Somebody in the top 80
On a Tuesday.
Hey, don't deny them action, okay? But I mean, do something a little bit better than their first three.
Hold on. So what does Florida go if they're in the MAC this year?
Easy.
500?
Easy.
Maybe. Don't give me a lot of shit.
Wow.
If they were in the MAC, you're talking all this about the MAC. If Florida was in the MAC this year, what would their record be in conference?
8-0.
You are so full of shit. You are
He's a dreamer.
Toledo comes in.
I always think my team's going to go undefeated. at the end
You
of the
do.
season.
I mean,
Toledo comes in. and lays
The
down.
MAC is a little down this year.
It is.
I mean,
It is done.
there's some MAC teams getting the shit beat out of them. And by the way, Northern Illinois, the great,
Illinois.
powerful Northern Illinois,
lost again to NC State.
lost again. So, I don't know if that hurts. I don't want to get into that whole Notre Dame discussion.
No, that-
but-
Oh, Notre Dame's wishing they would win out and win the conference.
well, again, I'm going to go back to it.
then some.
Northern Illinois beats Notre Dame. Suddenly, Northern Illinois is the cream of the crop. Let's rank them 23rd, and they've lost ever since then.
Yeah. Because we said it on the show 2 weeks ago, that fame, that fortune goes to your head and you get undisciplined.
well-
It's the same problem that you probably have in Georgia. There's a lot of fame and fortune around those kids right now, and they don't have the discipline that they had
Carson
last
Beck
year
drives a
before.
what? Lamborghini?
Yeah.
Ferrari? Whatever.
I
driver.
thought it was Bugatti.
But whatever.
Yeah,
It's-
everyone gets themselves a nice car when they get to Georgia. That's why they got so many speeding tickets, because they want to show out. And a bunch of idiots get all this money and they want to sit there and freaking and show out. But anyway,
Let's get to
moving
the
on.
questions. I'm getting mad.
but go back to Kentucky for a second.
Ooh, cheeks.
Their biggest
Taking control.
Their biggest drive of the season so far was on Saturday. 42-yard pass went for 63 yards or a touchdown.
And their
Don't have
quarterback's
blown
not that-
coverage, though. Don't lose track.
But they haven't done that the entire season.
yeah.
They
That happens.
haven't had big
Well,
plays.
no, hey, you know what? I'll give
No
Lane Kiffin
big
credit.
plays.
That was 4th and 7. And he threw a pass. Kudos for him. He ain't done that. He ain't done that in 20 years of coaching. Kudos. Basically, he just said, that dude outcoached me right there. And they gave him credit, so I'll give him that.
all signs pointed to it was going to be some kind of screen read, bubble screen.
Not a bomb.
Not a bomb. And he was like-
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Right.
it. And that quarterback from Kentucky, he's not that great. He's not very good.
Brock? Is that his name Brock?
Spicker or something.
He ain't Will Levis.
All right, so the snacks are getting dwindled down, so we're gonna move on to a different topic.
Is that your hourglass sand right there?
That is, yeah. So I said, while we're eating the charcuterie, we're gonna talk about last week.
Oh, when it's gone, we move on.
When it's gone, we move on. That's right. So, questions of the week. Will we get to watch the Liberty game play against App State?
No.
Is that going to happen?
No. It's what's going on in
I'm
Boone.
so sad about that because you and I have been talking about that game since before college football started.
It's
so.
what's going on in Boone right now is look, man, what happened in Western North Carolina? A lot of folks have used the term apocalyptic, biblical. It's not a stretch. You've got the town of Chimney Rock, which is roughly an hour from Boone. That you see pictures.
It's
where
not there
the
anymore.
towns, and then there's no town anymore. It ain't. Oh, it's flooded, and we'll have to. It's gone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
it's in the lake.
There's pictures. It's
Crazy.
in Lake Lure right now. So
Yeah.
in the pictures in Boone, the day of, like I said, my daughter was supposed to go up for a recruiting visit this weekend, and Main Street Boone had 16 inches of water in it, and all the buildings along the street have legit old school basements. I'm worried they're going to condemn all those buildings because of the
Probably.
flood damage. Because it didn't have anywhere to run. It just went down. It's still sitting there now, but not draining off. So add to the fact that it's a non-conference game, it really doesn't have a lot of meaning. The only thing I'll take away from that game, and y'all, you got anybody that's watched the Facebook page, I got my bourbon a little bit and got a little passionate about it.
The white uniforms?
Is what the coach did is crap. Number two is their quarterback basically, when they canceled the game, came out on Twitter and says they're ducking. It's why they canceled the game. I'm like, are you that out of touch to where you don't recognize the
Did he delete it?
situation?
Did he delete
He
it?
deleted the
Do
tweet.
you
but
think
people-
he prematurely didn't?
Keep in mind, the news on that whole thing on Saturday morning wasn't quite out yet on all the shit that was going on in Western.
Well,
North
then you know
Carolina.
what? You come out and you apologize.
Yeah,
you
you
come out and
too,
say,
yeah,
"Hey,
you should.
I look. Being a competitor, I said this. I was wrong. I didn't mean this. I didn't realize
Or, yeah, I
the
didn't realize.
enormity of it." He hadn't done that. I mean, quite frankly, if I'm App State pissed on Liberty, I would never schedule another game with them. To
They're
be
a
honest with
Christian
you.
school. He should have taken
Nah,
that.
but to be fair,
been hired.
no, they will not play the game because it has no bearing on anything. It's not a conference game. Now you're trying to reschedule a football game when you have a packed season. I mean, they actually have an open date together, but they played during the week before. They're just not going to do it. It doesn't matter.
So let me ask you this: does App State play another game this year?
Yes. They fortunately enough, they play at Marshall this week, so they're away. On the campus itself, the stadium's fine. The residence halls are fine. Parts of the city were fine. They're getting power back now. Basically, what the campus got trashed was the classrooms. Like I've got pictures of water running
Oh,
down
that
the
science
stairs
building?
of the class.
Yeah.
I took classes in that building, Rankin
Yeah.
Hall. My tailgate spot is around the corner from it. So school is canceled for the rest of the week. Will they play again? I think so. If anything, again, not that this matters, not even a fraction of what's going on. I think this will motivate that team, and they need a little motivation right now. I really do. So they'll play again. They'll play again. They've got something to play for, and for what seemed to be a very unmotivated team to start the season. But will they replay this game? No, not even chance.
So let me ask this, and it's not getting away from App State.
No, you're good.
But Liberty, now we say it doesn't mean nothing to App State. I mean, App State's got bigger things. But for Liberty,
One
that's
less
only,
game and they
that's
run the
only
table.
11 games. They run the table. And Boise State goes 12-1, wins them whatever conference they're. How important is it for Liberty to find someone to play?
To me, it's not, because here's when you want to look at the body of work, because that's what they're going to have to do with this.
Yeah.
Is basically when you have your conference championship game, so they've got to still go win that, and let's say they do. But if you want to look at it, this makes me want to puke in my throat. God, it pains me to say this. James Madison looks really good right now.
You are doing exactly what I wanted you to do, okay?
Okay, they look really good.
All right, so we're
And it makes
segueing.
me want to puke.
James Madison, right up the road from Liberty, by the way.
Because they're amazing purple uniforms.
I think they're about 60 miles
They
away
play in
from
Boone,
Liberty,
second to
right?
last game of the season. They play in Boone, and I hope that's what we like. We're going to wreck their season. Add to the fact of, if you look at Boise, I mean, the one loss that they run out is against Oregon in a very competitive game. You take all that into account. If you look at Boise's body of work, you look at James Madison's body of work, so assuming they all went out, and then you look at Liberty, who should have lost to New Mexico State, which is a terrible football program. They're not there. They're not there.
So the James Madison win against UNC is not going to... That's their only group of 4 opponent this season.
That's all they need.
And that game looks worse and worse. I mean,
Because UNC is not good.
I mean, Duke came back from down 20-6, 20-3 on them and beat them.
20-0.
20-0. Okay, so that just makes that win look less and less. And I mean, now granted, to be fair, again, I hate them. You have no idea how much I hate them. They about put Mac Brown
I think
to
I'm getting
retirement.
there.
There's something to be said for that.
Again.
But yeah, again for the third time. But no, when you really shake all this out, if James Madison runs the table, the Sun Belt is a much better conference than the AAC, I think, this year. Because what's the Memphis playing? They're not AAC. They're Conference USA, right?
No, they're AAC.
Okay, so they won't beat
They're
Memphis.
AAC.
So that's the thing. They won't beat Memphis.
I just feel bad for James Madison going against like Alabama or Georgia or something, you know?
But but at the end of the day, here's the thing.
gotta make it.
Coming from that
TCU.
world, you know what? If you get there, you get $4 million just for playing in that game. And if you catch lightning in a bottle, you get to go and do it again next week.
That's true.
And that's just kind of you have a there's nothing to lose attitude. Now, do I think a Group of 5 school can do that for 4 or 5 games? No, probably not. But
I recall there was a team about
Yep.
2007
yeah, we got one.
that got one, and that it was a Division II team at the time. It could happen.
1AA. 1AA. Quarterback gets hurt. And then we lose to Wofford 2 weeks later. We go to the backup quarterback. But we did win the national championship that year, so that's just no preface.
But I just think, I mean, I don't think we have to sit here and worry about what the matchups are. That's what that's what the playoff for 12 is.
Yeah.
You know, James Madison, I think that buys them. You play the one Group of 5 school that you needed to play, and you won. Not only did you win, you put darn 70 points on the board. That's going to sell tickets. Not that they're a huge school, but they're exciting.
Well, I will tell you that, again, I try not to give them too many kudos because it makes me want to puke, but their fan base is passionate.
So
They
you don't like them? Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. But what's interesting about it, if you look in the top 25 now, their coach left and went to Indiana. Guess who's in the top 25 now? And now you got James Madison. You had a coach that was underneath him that are now possibly going to be the Group of 5. So look, whether I want to admit it or not, they're doing some right things. They are in, I forget where James Madison is.
It's in
They're
Virginia.
north of Virginia.
No, I know it's in Virginia. I forget
Yeah.
what town it's in.
I don't remember the name of the
No,
town
it's
either.
way up there, up 81.
No, it's in the Shenandoah Valley. It's gorgeous.
Mitch
It's
went,
absolutely gorgeous.
Mitch
up
went
there.
to school there.
I don't. Yeah, he wants to come and talk to me in the middle of those games. I'm like, Mitch, I love you, buddy. Go somewhere else.
Look, I'll just
Take the time.
I'll just say this to make you feel better. Somebody sitting at this table had a lot of money on James Madison last year. They went in and played App State. It did not go.
No, we
very-
won up there. They
Yeah.
got to come to Boone this year.
It didn't matter where they played. I had.
And to go do my Friday reference, I told you, don't do that. And you go, you didn't tell me shit.
Hey, does
Sometimes I
anyone,
forget at the bar.
has anyone seen BYU play at all this year?
I have.
Okay, because, yeah, you're a Big 12 guy.
Hold
I think that BYU, the schedule that I'm looking at, they have the potential to win all their games.
Yeah, they're set up nicely.
They are set up
They're
nicely.
set up very nicely.
Do you think that they are going to win the Big 12?
I mean,
Coming from you, the Big 12 guy.
the problem with the Big 12, and it's been this way for a while now, even before West Virginia got in, they cannibal each other. I mean, the Big 12 beat each other up so bad, and it comes down to it. So They could win the Big 12. I think they could be in the Big 12 championship game. Do I think they'd win the Big 12? I don't know. Hell, right now Colorado could make the Big 12.
Oh, bullshit.
Hey, y'all can say what you want. They're
I was
4-1.
gonna bring that
They
up as
stomped
well.
the hell out of UCF. I mean, say what you want. Their schedule's pretty favorable too. I mean,
UCF was like 21-point favorites or
21
something.
point favorites at home. Yeah. I mean, I'm not.
Ole Miss was 16-point favorites at home. How'd that go?
Yeah, I know, but
Right, but I'm just saying we're talking about the Big 12. They cannibalize each other. I mean, BYU's leading the clubhouse, but I don't know. I mean, it's really kind of I was worried about this year. I was worried about how it was going to go. It never favors West Virginia when that kind of stuff happens because we're usually the mid to bottom when that kind of crap happens. But yeah, BYU could easily win it. I do think right now I would, if I had to put money on it, I would put them in the Big 12 championship game.
in the Big 12 championship game against like Kansas State or against
Kansas State seems to be I still think they're the favorite.
Really?
I mean, man, they are just. By the way, yes.
That was a fun game.
but they hiccup and they're home. If that game is in to your point, and I'm going to agree
Stillwater's.
I'm going to agree with you that they treat each other so hard and cannibalize each other that if that game's in Stillwater, it's probably the score is the exact opposite.
It's possible.
You know, because that's just how the Big 12 goes.
Yeah.
You know, so it's to be seen if K-State can win on the road. They have one loss.
Yeah.
And it's not a pretty loss.
Yeah.
So
By the way, Arizona's loss to K-State was not a conference loss. It did not count as a conference loss.
because it was the first game of the season?
Because it was a pre-scheduled game before
Pre-scheduled
the
before
Lions.
yeah. Okay.
the Big 12 has Texas Tech, Utah, Oklahoma State, BYU, Colorado even are in Kansas State. They're in position where they can win, and get into the Big 12 championship.
Absolutely.
Who falls first? Texas Tech, I think, would be the one that falls first.
Yeah, they have no defense.
Yeah, they don't have defense. Colorado doesn't have a defense either. They happen to, they say pull it together against UCF, but
I mean,
I don't think UCF.
They're going to have trouble with. I think they play Utah. They're going to have trouble with Utah, of course.
Yeah.
But and I think they play BYU. But I mean, again, there's no reason to think that a 2 or 3 loss Big 12 team won't be in the Big 12 championship game. They keep playing the way they're all playing. I don't know. I mean, I should have a better position in the Big 12. I just don't have a good read on them right now.
Yeah.
Kansas State's the only one I feel confident.
Well, here's the thing with BYU, and they've done this year in, year out. They just very quietly going about their business, and you get to the latter quarter of the season, and it's kind of like, whoa, wait a minute, BYU hadn't lost a game, or they've lost one game.
They were bad last year.
But they seem to always figure this stuff out, man. I mean,
They get athletes, man. They got big time players out there.
BYU is one of those because of the type of school it is.
Listen,
being-
the best Mormons from around the world
they come to BYU.
go to BYU.
Let me tell you what, BYU on women's soccer is a top 5 program every year because if you're a women's soccer player and you're Mormon, they don't have to recruit. You show up at the doorstep.
And they heavily recruit, American Samoan, Hawaiian.
Yeah.
They, I mean, and those are tough, strong, good football players, man. I mean, you can't.
It's a great school. It's in a beautiful place.
Oh, it is.
I mean, you don't how
Yeah,
Jim
Provo,
McMahon,
Utah
how Jim
Warriors.
McMahon went to BYU. I still try to get my head around this.
He didn't stay very long.
Steve Young did.
But Steve Young's a rookie.
Yeah, Steve Young's a
He didn't do
pro.
anything.
Jimmy Man.
Jimmy
Jimmy
Man.
Showed up to practice with a 12-pack.
Exactly. So no, BYU's always been a very formidable program, and hey, guess what they do have? A national championship. All right. So right or wrong, they're a team that I can promise you, when any team in the Big 12 looks at that schedule, they go, they don't really want to play that game.
And another thing too, they have consistency in the coaching staff. I mean, they don't turn coaches over. They seem to stay pretty consistent. So I mean, BYU's they're back at it again. They're tough.
And here's another thing that's probably not widespread talked about because in the BYU fashion is there's a lot of money out there in the hills,
A lot of money.
and you're probably never going to hear about it.
But they're getting some NIL money coming in.
There's a lot of money out in their hills. If you've
Well-
been to downtown Salt Lake City, you know what I'm talking about.
No, it's a very wealthy area as well.
Before they were Big 12, they were independent for about 5 years. Yeah. So they can sustain, like Notre Dame. They can sustain.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so let's talk about some people that are not Mormons, and that is I don't think I'm
All
not
the other
sure,
teams.
but we got Jalen Milroe, Cam Ward, Travis Hunter, Ashton Jeanty. Am I saying that right? From Boise State.
He's your front runner.
He's
Your front runner. I don't care. If you look at the stats that cat is putting up right now, it is disgusting. And I mean, it ain't, he's playing a lesser talent. He ran all over Oregon, too. He's
Yeah.
front runner.
Okay.
I mean,
Right now, Jalen Milroe has the.
that's because he's a quarterback playing from a high-profile team.
Yeah.
And he's on primetime stage.
But let me tell you what, if
Jalen's my
that
guy.
running back from Boise State does what he does in the first 4 games for the second half, the last 2/3 of the season,
Yeah.
he may have one of the greatest running back seasons that's ever been put down on record. That dude is killing it right now.
To me, if they were really fair about it and they were the best players, it'd be a 2-horse race. It'd be that kid and Travis Hunter, and that would be it. Cam Ward's a good quarterback. Dylan Milroe's good for that system, but the 2 best players, impact players, are that kid, the Gentry kid.
How do you
Travis
say it?
Hunter.
Because I say
It's
it
a
wrong.
Gentry, right?
Yeah, Genty.
Genty.
It's Genty and Travis Hunter. We don't like Colorado. They're a bunch of showboys, but he is not. He's a good ball player. He plays both ways. Out of like 47 plays in the game, he played 44. I mean,
By the way, I digress. Did you see what Travis Hunter did before the game? Cam Newton came up and wanted to introduce himself. You know, he's Cam Newton.
God.
He goes, get away. He's going, get away. I'm preparing for this. He did this to him. There's a video of him going, get your ass going. I'm preparing for a game. And I'm like,
I don't think I have a problem with that.
I know. No, it gives me more respect for the guy. It really
he's not the one
does.
pointing at his watch. He's not the one. He ain't doing that.
No, he's out there. He's got bigger prizes on the radar.
Yeah, that's the best.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and maybe a love for the game, which matters.
It does.
I mean, clearly the guy has.
Look, it's like this. What I've always said: if you are that good, you don't have to do all that other stuff.
That's right.
You just let what you do on the field talk. You don't have to say much. I mean, granted, he's a little flashy. He's got a little flash in him. You can't play in Colorado and not, right?
Right.
But say versus Shedeur Sanders, who he's trying to take away from his deficiencies by how he conducts his business. Travis Hunter just goes out and plays and moves on. Yeah, so I agree with you. Those two right now,
That's the best two players in the country.
ain't even close.
And to put up the numbers that both those guys are doing without the team around them that's going to... I mean, for Jalen Milroe, he has the best athletes in the world around him to throw to.
He's got the best
to
17-year-old
protect him. Yeah,
Same way. So it's like Nico Alphabet. Like I said, he was going to be in that conversation. He still may.
He is. He's like number 6 on the list or
But
something.
and you let him go beat Alabama, or you let him go Georgia, he'll come right up to the top. The cream always rises.
Yeah.
But again, when you lay down the fact of what do you have around him, what players supporting cast do you have, and what that kid's doing out in Boise. I mean, Boise's not a bad team, but they're not Alabama, they're not Georgia, they're not Tennessee. You know, they're not any of that. And he's running all over people. I mean, he should be on the stage barring an injury just like Steve McNair did, and thus far in the first quarter of the season, he should be your winner.
Yeah. So we're gonna hop into the games of the week. So we have not gotten officially any word from Landon the Legend yet. All right, so we do have the Rebel leading for number 1 on the picks this so far for the season, but Landon is number 1 last week apparently.
He was.
The legend. If you'd have picked the legend last week, you win money. And Lord of mercy, some of the conversations off mic are fantastic right now. We need to do like an uncensored, uncut version, like after hours kind of thing.
Not for that.
Sorry. So I stopped recording for 5 seconds and shit goes crazy. All right.
Yep, they go sideways.
You want to go to the Sizzler?
The Sizzler. All right, so games of the week.
I'm buying.
Experts.
Oh, God.
It's out of control, people.
Oh wow.
All right, experts are predicting a challenging game for Michigan State as they face number 6 Oregon. I don't know, man. I think that Oregon is overhyped, just like Sizzler is overhyped. Okay? I'm gonna say
Golden Steer's a lot better.
I'm gonna say Golden Corral.
What I say, Golden
No,
Steer?
Sizzler, yes.
There used to be a Golden Steer way back when too.
Was
Golden
it?
Corral.
Just go to the Longhorn. You'll be all right.
But just like that, I think Oregon might be overhyped, man. I think Michigan State might have a chance of winning this game. Can this be an upset next weekend?
on.
Are we gonna be talking about this as the upset of the week?
If it were at Michigan State, maybe it's in Eugene. It's in Eugene, and you got teams traveling cross country. We've talked about this before. The odds of you winning when you travel cross country go down. Oregon wins the game.
What is it about Michigan State that makes you think they have a chance in this game?
Nothing. I'm just
Okay,
saying.
so it's not like they played Ohio
So
State.
who'd you-
Nick Saban coached there.
Oh, shit.
Who did you pick?
I got Oregon on that game,
Oh,
of
Jesus.
course,
Okay.
but only because they haven't proven me wrong yet. In that sense,
They
Like,
win ugly, but they win. So you
Yeah.
know what?
That's all that
Exactly.
matters.
But I do think that I think that they have a couple losses coming. I really do. A couple. I mean,
It's just
they're-
not going to be this one.
Yes, that's not going to be this one. Michigan
No.
State does not have it together. I mean, their coaching staff is all brand new. It's not going to happen. So,
for strange reasons.
Rooster, who do you got? Michigan State or Oregon? Is there an upset in the mix there?
Not so fast. No,
Not so
This
fast.
is not the not so fast moment.
That's not it.
Oregon wins. They're at home. Michigan State still recovering. You know, it's sad to see. Great program back in the day. Had some fun games, some fun watches. It's not going to be this year. Oregon.
Got you. Who you got, Mountain Man?
Michigan-
Mountain Mama?
Michigan State's coach, Jonathan Smith, right? He was the one that was at Oregon State last year. Is that right? Am I
Yes, and took their backup quarterback with him, not DJ
Yeah.
Alphabet.
So I mean, so Michigan to piggyback off Michigan State will be fine. They will get it together probably next year, year
Next
after.
year, yeah.
But for this weekend, Oregon's going to blow them out.
Blow them out.
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't think they have the offense to blow them out.
30-point win.
30.
Oh.
You're delusional. All right,
Hey,
go on.
somebody has me a beer. I'll bet you that beer that's not a 30-point win.
Cheeks, who you got on this game? Michigan, Oregon State. You gonna play it safe?
I thought it was easy. An easy pick.
24.
I picked Oregon.
Of course.
the spread is 24 on this game. So
There's
Really?
really big things.
God, I
Again,
just
Ole
don't
Miss
see
was a
it being-
16-point spread last week.
I just don't.
Difference.
they turn into a gobbler.
I think Michigan State has a better defense than to let them put
Oh, my
24
God.
points more than. But anyway, go on. So who do you got, Rebel?
Oh, I said Oregon out the gate. Ain't
All right.
close.
Yeah.
Big game of the week, man. Number 9 Mizzou at Texas A&M. Not the biggest game of the week. I'm just saying it's a big game of the week. Texas A&M, are they ranked 25 right now? I'm pretty sure that's the case. So Mizzou is not favored in this game, believe it or not.
Nor should they be.
Texas A&M is favored by 1.5 points, but there's a 56% chance that Mizzou wins this game, which is kind of weird, right? That being said, this is going to depend upon Brady Cook figuring out how to take control. I don't think he's taking control of games this season yet. I mean, I just feel like Mizzou is... I had high expectations for them, and they have not met them. I think that Texas A&M does win this game. So I'm going for Texas A&M.
Missouri wins the game for 2 reasons.
2 reasons, okay.
Number one,
I like hearing reasons.
They had 2 weeks to prepare. They had an open week last week. Number 2 is, and again, I had a lot of vomit moments on the show. They found a running game last game with Nate Noel, who transferred from Appalachian State because Captain Dinkendunk, their coach Drinkwitz, recruited him the 1 year he was at Appalachian. He ran for 199 yards 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. They figured out their running back situation. And if you can run the ball, now you can throw the ball. That's how this plays out. Missouri wins the game.
Mizzou beats Texas A&M, okay.
Oh,
I think Texas A&M has a deep enough defense to protect against that, but...
Well, I remember a team that went down there 3 years ago with that same running back as a backup and ran 71 plays against them and upset the number 6 Aggies in College Station. So, again, there's a lot of parallel from 3 years ago, and I just think Missouri gets it done because they are starting to figure it out a little bit.
Cheeks, they do say that just because you're the home team, you get 3 points
Correct.
added on that spread, right? So that might be why Texas A&M is favored by 1.5
Basically, it's a pick 'em.
points.
Basically,
it's a pick 'em. So it's up in the air, right? But do you got Mizzou or do you got?
I
Texas
totally
A&M?
went for Texas A&M because I want Mizzou to lose.
Wow.
You don't like Mizzou.
Let's go with feelings.
Go with your
Totally
heart.
go with my feelings.
Go with feelings.
That's
Have another
fine.
drink and talk about them later.
And then we can talk about how I only got 2 games last week.
Then I thought you bombed on me about that. That's fine.
Rooster, who you got, man? Mizzou, number 9 versus number 25, Texas A&M.
I'm going to agree. So I'm just looking at the past scores. Texas A&M defense is good. They've only allowed a maximum of 23 points. That was to Notre Dame. Okay. But then they allowed 22 Florida. We all know about that offense. They allowed 22 Bowling Green. Ouch. And then
It's not that bad this year, by the way.
they're not. Bowling Green always puts something on the field. Don't get me wrong. But
It's either them or Ball State. Pick which B you want.
But Bowling Green went on the road to Texas A&M and put on 20 points.
Game.
And game a game. Only won by 6. So I think
So
this
you're thinking, I feel like you're saying that Brady Cook is going to be able to take control of this game. Right?
I think what I'm saying is Brady Cook is not the quarterback to take control over any game. And the time that he tried to, he threw interceptions against Notre Dame and they lost. I got Missouri winning by 6.
By 6, okay. Now, keep in mind, Texas A&M has a quarterback who has been out, Connor Wigman, for the last couple games. He may or may not be back. It's a game-time decision, but then again, I feel like their backup quarterback
Is better.
He is better.
Yeah.
That's been the word on the street, yeah. So,
Yeah.
6 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's better.
Mountain Mama.
I tell you, man.
Your name changes every time.
I don't even know what it is.
Well, my name should change. I've been waffling, listening to you guys talk, waffling this pick. I had Texas
No
A&M
one's
for
going to eat
sure.
this meat, by the way.
You like a good piece of meat in your mouth.
All right, go on.
I'm going to go with Missouri. I think y'all are right. I think Missouri pulls it off.
I said Texas A&M, so that's not
So did
y'all.
I.
I was talking about these two.
Okay.
Oh.
Rebel, you already called Mizzou?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Damn it, man. So I'm the only person on Texas A&M.
You're
and I
on an
both.
island, sir.
You and I both.
For the record, I'm rooting for Texas A&M. For the record.
Yeah.
I definitely am.
So, okay.
I need some picks from Belize.
Number 12, Ole Miss is coming to our hometown this weekend
As a
to
wounded
play
dog.
as a wounded dog. They have
A wounded dog, a wounded
a
dog.
wounded dog. They have to make up for a
You know
bad
what a
loss.
wounded dog is, right? They're coming to town. and
Female dog.
Exactly.
All
I
right,
know
so
what that means.
Ole Miss loses to Kentucky. Carolina beat the crap out of Kentucky. This is an interesting game. I think we kind of mentioned it earlier.
So I'm going to give you my take on this I think South Carolina wins the game. I think they are that much better than everybody thought they were going to be. Assuming Sellers plays, and from all intents and purposes, he could have played last week. He didn't play against Akron just so he could be ready for this week. They realized how important he
Imagine how
is.
many points he would have put up if he
Oh,
played.
Lord, help me.
Holy, we could have broken the record.
Here's the thing. So the winner of this game is going to come down to South Carolina's defensive coaching staff. Yeah. Because let me tell you what. They put an ass whipping on LSU in the first half. LSU went back into halftime, adjusted, and came out and just kind of walked through South Carolina's defense.
Yeah.
Okay? So if South Carolina's defense... Yeah, you're trying to get me really hammered. I saw what you did.
It was already half full, man.
Bullshit. So I can put a splash in the top of that.
You notice how much louder the podcast gets as we go on.
As we go on, that's a true fact. But the point being is, South Carolina's defensive coaches, I'm hoping take what they take from that LSU loss, which in my opinion they should have won the game, is we got to do a better job making adjustments because LSU out-adjusted them in the second half. Their defense did not look like the defense of the first half. Based off of that, based off of what I know is down there, and based off inside information I get from a lot of different players, South Carolina wins the game this week.
Wow. So I'm just gonna trust you and say South Carolina. I'm kidding.
You should.
I'm gonna save my pick for last. Who you got, Mountain Man?
Man, I don't know. You know me. I don't like Ole Miss. I think they're a flake. I don't think they're for real. I think they will come in. I think Lane Kiffin's going to try to prove something. He wants to put up the points.
Ole Miss is a 9-point favorite right now.
Yeah, he's got. But man, this feels like one of those games where South Carolina's going to get up big. It's going to be like the LSU games. Will come down to some kind of bullshit call or some kind of bad mistake. I'm going to pick South Carolina to win. But I don't know that I'm convinced.
I'm going to interject real quick before we move forward. The only thing I don't like about it is they're trying to do a blackout night game, like a blackout game, and every time they do, they lose.
No, they sent out Garnet. Where Garnet?
Well, first they sent out black, so I hope they did change it. Every time they do blackout,
the email
they
I got
lose.
this morning was where Garnet.
Is anyone attending this game?
Yes, it's the one game I get to go to this year.
I am also, and I had to pay for tickets because it's the one game he gets to go to.
Fair point.
That's funny.
Who you got, Rooster?
All right. First of all,
Insert Jeopardy music.
Do.
oh wait,
Get what you pick.
Who you got?
Ole Miss wins the game.
Ole Miss wins the game.
And I hate it.
Why?
I hate that Kentucky beat them.
Then you get that crescent moon and Palmetto off your sleeve, you traitor.
Oh, here we go. I hate saying it, but this is reality right now. So I think where Kentucky was extremely strong, I think that there's gaps in USC, and we saw it against LSU.
You know who wins the game? Special teams. South Carolina special teams wins the game.
Oh, I thought it was my turn. I thought it was my. Is it my turn?
Not if
I thought
he's talking.
I thought he already had a turn.
No, if
think
Rebel's
that's-
talking, he always jumps us
I'm
on.
refuting yourself.
I'm just saying. I don't think USC goes up big in this game. I think Ole Miss comes in, smacks him in the face, then it turns into a grind, and that's not USC's game. I don't love it. I'm a USC Gamecock fan, but I hate to say this. I think Ole Miss comes in and makes a statement after losing and being flat. Today was their recovery day after running laps yesterday and throwing up. They're going to come in here hungry. I think Ole Miss wins. I hate it.
Jake, so you got Ole Miss, South Carolina.
Well, because
Your
all
choice.
season I have picked against USC, and everybody ridiculed me. And,
Which you should have received that.
and Liz almost unfriended me. So
Almost.
almost.
Which is devastating.
A friend of the podcast, by the way.
Liz
So-
isn't opinionated at all.
Not at all. No. So I picked USC.
Good woman.
I went with my heart. I picked
go with your
USC.
feelings again.
I did. I'm going with my feelings
Here's the
again.
good thing is I'm picking Ole Miss. I'm going to be at the game. If Carolina wins, this is a win-win.
Well, I will say this.
Win-win.
I will
Yeah.
say this. If I was betting, I would take South Carolina the points because it's -9.
Yeah.
Ole Miss is a
That's
9-point favorite right now.
That's true.
That's also true.
Yeah.
All right, so
There's no points in this game.
Come on. Give it to us. Give it to us.
South Carolina's a pretty good team. Sellers is a pretty damn good quarterback, right? The kid's getting more confidence every game that he plays.
Which makes Rooster mad every game.
Carolina's at home. It plays to the favor to being a very close game. I do think that's the case. Ole Miss, though, man, coming off a loss like they did against Kentucky, like they do have a lot to prove. It's going to be a tough, hard game. I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. I guarantee it. I think Carolina comes in on top just because they're at home, man. I really do.
Sandstorm blinds the
Yeah.
Rebels.
Oh man, and that's it. I'm almost tempted to buy some tickets to that game.
You
just
should.
freaking
You
go.
should.
I wish I knew I had an extra one yesterday.
Oh, dude, that's terrible. All right, so Ohio State, number 3, is hosting Iowa. Iowa
watching paint
has
dry.
not showed to have that strong of a team this season, but they do have a defense that is really going to put it on Ohio State to the best of their ability. Ohio State has not been challenged this season yet. Their biggest challenge so far was they played Michigan State last week, and it wasn't even a challenge for them.
Right,
either,
Michigan State stinks.
Yeah, so Michigan State stinks. Iowa has the ability to stop the ball. They have the ability to stop the run. They have the ability to stop the pass. I just don't think. Obviously, we're going to go with Ohio State on this one. I think we're going to go around the table. On
Yeah,
that.
I think you're making this into a bigger game than it is.
Watching Iowa play football is like watching a chess match. Like, legitimately.
No,
playing
defensively, they are a good team.
chess. It's boring as hell.
I was gonna say, it's not a chess match. It's like watching paint dry.
Same
There
thing.
you go.
Watching a chess. I'm saying like a legit
Water
watching two
boil.
people play chess.
Yeah.
I actually
It's
like
like
watching
watching. I don't too, but it takes forever and it's boring.
The only benefit to this game, for Ohio State is the fact that they get to show that their offense can play against a good solid defense.
They're going to win by 30.
We already know.
They're going to win by 30.
That seems to be your number tonight.
I know.
I'm gonna take,
He just always does
I used to say 100, but I'm not going to go that far. So I'm going to take you back real quick. Last year, Penn State goes into Iowa. Everybody's raving about Iowa's defense. Penn State's freshman quarterback, Drew Allard, 35-0. 35-0. Okay, on that defense last year. So you're telling me they're going into Columbus, correct?
Yeah.
Now, come on.
The horseshoe.
Ohio State by 100. I'm telling you,
Gibbity.
I don't want to hear about Iowa's defense. It looks so great when they're playing Minnesota, Purdue, Maryland, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Ohio State is going to beat them like a drum. It is. It's going to be a shutout. This game ain't going to be close. Ohio State's real challenge is next week or October 12th, whatever that day.
Yeah, Oregon.
That's it.
Yeah.
Marshall was a bigger roadblock than Iowa's going to be.
Wow.
Marshall
okay.
put 14 points on
So what you're saying is Ohio State's going to win the game?
by 100.
Mark it down, their cheeks.
Well,
100.
I did have 30, but now it's 100.
It's 100.
All right, so one little sidebar here. One of the things I do before the show is I have ChatGPT give me the show notes, right? So that I put in the game Ohio State versus Iowa, and I say who are the key players going to be, and it said quarterback Kyle McCord and wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. So don't trust ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Is what I got to say for your show notes. All right, did we go around the table? Everyone says Ohio State, right? Do I even need to go any further than that?
These two didn't really call it.
Ohio State with the points.
All right.
What's the spread of 30?
Ohio State wins the game. Ohio State's problem comes November 2nd. That's when Ohio State's problem comes.
I don't even believe that.
I don't think there's a problem.
I don't think Penn State will be an issue
That's
at all.
at Penn State.
Hey, we're sticking with the Big Ten on the next one, and somebody called it out. I think it was some guy that we kicked off the show named what's that?
Ripper,
bass
and he was
fisherman?
all
What's that old bass fisherman guy's name?
Yeah.
Ripper, the predictor. Yeah, he's not predicting
Nipper.
nothing. So
Nada.
But he did mention that we are having 3 Big Ten teams featured on the show. Rutgers at Nebraska.
That's
Man,
gonna be
the
a good-
Huskers are a good team.
That's gonna be a good
Rutgers
game.
is 4-0 right now, I think.
Yes.
That being
Yep, they're
said,
undefeated.
this is going to be one of the best matchups of the weekend. I guarantee it.
I think so.
You got to go first this time. You went last time. You got it.
Hey, come on, Corso. Put your.
Yeah, but Nebraska's one of his teams.
Yeah, this is an easy call.
Plan B.
So Nebraska's quarterback Heinrich Herberg is what fucking ChatGPT told me the quarterback's name is, right? And we're not going to use that name because that is not his name. And now I can't even think of the guy's name. But anyway,
Dylan Raiola.
Dylan Raiola, yeah, is a good quarterback. He's getting
Not
into
enough
his
for-
own this season. He's a freshman though. Does he have the experience to go in and beat Rutgers? I think he does. Nebraska by 10.
Wow.
Wow.
Dude,
Nebraska wins the game.
Nebraska wins the game because
they lost.
yeah.
They lost a shootout against Illinois. Could have, should have won the game. You could argue.
Yep.
Nebraska wins the game.
For sure. I agree with you on that. Cheeks, who do you got in this game?
All right.
Rutgers or Nebraska?
I'm bringing my feelings back out.
No,
again.
you need to kick that to the curb. You can leave and get back to the house.
So my brother went to Rutgers.
Oh, jeez.
Christine went to Rutgers.
A friend of the podcast.
Yeah, so I'm going with Rutgers. And
Those Jersey boys.
I
are
went to
coming,
high school
huh?
in New Jersey.
You
so-
want to buy some drinks? Is what all I hear.
I don't feel like people from New Jersey fit in well in Nebraska at all.
No.
And they're going to get there, they're going to feel so
Big
uncomfortable.
cornfred
Oh,
boys.
I don't know
Yeah.
that Rutgers has a big traveling group that goes watch.
No,
it.
Lord have mercy, no.
Who you got, West Virginia?
I'm gonna tell you now. And going back to the old Big East days that was mentioned earlier, you don't mess with Greg Schiano. That guy has got a wagon up there in New Jersey.
Keep
chopping
chopping.
the wood.
Keep chopping.
He's going to chop right through Nebraska. I think Rutgers pulls up the upset.
Whoa, they're going to be 5-0 at the end of the
I
week.
mean, look, I'll give Ripper, the bass fisherman, I'll give him his props. He has been saying it. He's talked about Rutgers outside of this podcast.
He did.
He has been. I think he's right.
He called him at the beginning of the season to be
Yeah.
possibly a contender for the Big Ten.
Yeah, no, I think it's an upset. I don't even know if I call. I mean, nothing against Nebraska. I don't know if I call it an upset. Rutgers is a good team.
Yeah.
Dylan Raiola is young.
Agreed.
And it's really gonna come down to
It's in
defenses.
Lincoln. That's
it's
a
in Lincoln.
big deal.
Sold out stadium.
You got Larry Cable got tossing hot dogs, man.
Just so you know, Illinois
That's
went into Lincoln and
Yeah.
beat
On a Friday night.
Nebraska.
Yeah.
and Illinois is better than Rutgers.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
It's hard to tell, man. Who do you got, Rooster? You're diving deep into the news pages on
We're
this
going,
right now.
we're going, but I'm gonna have to agree with the Mountain Mama on this one. 'Cause
The
I
Mountain
think-
Mama.
I believe that Rutgers is gonna go in. I'm not sold on Lincoln, Nebraska yet.
Yay.
I think they're
Thank you.
coming up.
Oh, it's coming.
I think it's gonna be
what she
they're,
said.
they're gonna be there. It's usually already passed by then. I think give them another 2 years, and I think Nebraska will be early '90s. Nebraska. It's not this year. Rutgers goes in. I agree. Greg Schiano. I hate playing that guy. Keep chopping wood. Keep chopping the Cornhuskers. Rutgers wins by 10.
By 10, okay. So I said Nebraska by 10. You got Rutgers
That's
by
a 20
10.
points. You owe me a beer from the. You want to bet a beer?
Oh,
I got
that's
beer in the
right.
fridge, man.
I mean, I know that.
What? No, I want
A beer.
beer from MJ.
A beer.
Yeah. I'll buy you a pitcher of beer.
A quality beer.
At
Papa
at
Tony's.
Papa Tony's or a beer at MJ's. Your choice.
I know that Lincoln's
All right.
a tough place to play, and that crowd's crazy. But they go 3 and out about the first 4 or 5 drives. That crowd's dead as a doornail, and I can see that happen. I mean,
Nebraska's.
Oh, yeah.
They're talking about Tom
when it
Cross.
starts getting slow and they ain't scoring, and their little Patrick Mahomes Jr. is not doing all his little flashy shit, that crowd's going to die down like any other crowd will in the country.
That's
you
true.
You get nervous. I mean,
Remember when we had Tom Frost as a quarterback as a coach? That was the good days. All right, let's go on.
All right, so we got Garrett Schrader at quarterback at Syracuse, who is not the fucking quarterback at Syracuse.
Easy. That's 2 F-bombs from you.
Sorry, but let's just say that ChatGPT is letting me down.
I'm just saying, maybe you need to do your real homework. Okay, this is last year's. You put in 2023. Garrett Schrader left. Kyle McCord from
I
Ohio
know.
State is
Listen,
over there at Syracuse.
I'm fully aware of
that
that.
is
I am
not-
just highlighting the fact that fucking ChatGPT is not taking the jobs anytime soon.
That sounds like you're being lazy.
did you put 2023 in there?
I think you put 20.
No, I just put. Give me the highlights and the impact players of this game coming up.
Are you
this
running
week.
like 12.0 instead of 17.1?
I'm just trying to make my life easier here. Okay, we make a lot of money.
You think
on this
you
show.
got a day job or something?
We make a lot of money on this show, but I don't have the back office personnel that I need.
First
okay?
of all, this is a really intriguing game. If you
Number 25 UNLV versus Syracuse.
I think we
In
got
the dome.
So there's a lot that's been going on here. There's been a lot of chatter.
The backup at UNLV may be better.
There's a lot of chatter.
Yes.
So we had a quarterback at UNLV that said,
You ain't paying me
"Not
enough.
so fast. My stock has gone up. Pay me more because there's no such thing as a contract." Yeah, go sit down, chump. Because this kid is a 6-year quarterback out of Campbell.
Yep.
That's who came over to UNLV. That's who the backup quarterback at UNLV is.
Didn't you say Kyle McCord was going to be the
Hang on.
Heisman
Hey, I'm not
Trophy?
The
done
man
yet.
finished.
For crying out loud. This kid went out in his first game, went out and lit it up both on the ground and in the air. Now, don't get me wrong. They didn't play a good team. Fresno State's not a good team this year. They
No, they're not.
They don't have a car at quarterback?
no. What was the coach's name that had that big old walrus mustache, man? He was awesome. But anyways,
Andy Reid?
no. Andy Reid's just a
That's
big old
true.
dude. But if you look up the Fresno coach from a couple years ago, he was awesome.
Yep.
Anyways, he was hard-nosed. It was great. But anyways,
There's a lot of thumping tonight.
yeah, I'm
That's his team,
This
man.
is Syracuse, and they're playing actually in the Raider Stadium. They're not playing at UNLV.
No, it's
I
at
don't believe-
Cuse.
It is
sir.
at Cuse.
It's at Cuse.
It's at Cuse.
It's at Cuse.
Just
It's in the dome, bro.
You thought they were playing
It's in
at
the
the
dome.
It's in the
I
tin
thought they were
can, my
at Legion.
friend. It's in the tin
Yeah.
can.
so does that
anyways.
change your prediction?
No, it does not change my prediction because my prediction has always been the same. All I'm saying
duh.
is there's a lot of stuff going on in this game that's been exciting. UNLV started the week out as a 4-point favorite. They're now a 7-point favorite. So just since Sunday, it's gone up.
Okay,
3
so-
points.
UNLV's the favorite.
So
Yes, absolutely.
We-
They're
So let me
on-
back up. Our commander-in-chief has it wrong. They are playing at Allegiant Stadium.
Thank you.
A late game, and UNLV is a 7-point favorite.
Thank
I'll
you.
blame it on ChatGPT.
Wait, I have a
again.
question. Who's the commander in chief?
Me.
Oh, you.
Anyways, I said, Allegiant.
thought you called it.
They're going out to UNLV. It's a very difficult ride. However, having analyzed the game last week,
It's a sweet
the
statement.
UNLV defense is freaking suspect as all get out. Okay, if you watch the game against Kansas, they had no long ball threat. Syracuse is all long ball threat, baby. Kyle McCord throws 375 yards and 4 touchdowns and a banger. Get it on the over. Syracuse wins 42. UNLV 38.
Whoa, that close, huh?
Big time close.
All right.
Big time close.
I got Syracuse as well, only because I think that they're a better team overall. With the fact that they can throw the ball and they're doing well, I don't think UNLV has it in them to beat a team
I
like
gotta tell you,
Syracuse.
do not underestimate UNLV. I don't love this game. I'm putting it behind my boys down at Syracuse. McCord, OG, you know who I'm talking about, Syracuse fans. They're gonna go big this week.
All right, Chicks, who you got?
I got UNLV. I'm sorry.
Is that a hard
you-
pick or is that they're just a better team pick?
That's I threw a coin in the air and
It's not a bad pick. I'm telling you, this is a coin toss game. This
it
is
was.
a coin toss.
It was totally
game.
a coin toss game for me, and but I really want that backup quarterback to excel at UNLV. I love a little salt in the wounds.
My heart tells me that UNLV should win this game only because I hate people that are poor sports.
Yes.
Although if you
Yeah.
were promised stuff, I do understand.
But the university
But
came out and
nothing.
said they fulfilled
Yeah,
their obligation.
there was conflicting.
The problem is he didn't get anything in writing.
It's my word against yours, so fucking suck it up, bitch.
If it was a road coach that promised him money,
Excuse my
no, it
language.
is. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
Syracuse put 10 points.
Syracuse by 10 points.
I love
Okay. And Mountain Mama Jama, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Syracuse. I'm not impressed with who UNLV's beaten. I mean, yeah, they beat
Kansas.
Kansas
Kansas.
is 1-4. Kansas is 1-4.
Yeah, Kansas ain't in the
They beat
first
Houston. They're bad. Beat Utah Tech. Hold on to your britches there. Utah Tech. Wow. And then Fresno State, who's actually
He said britches. I love it.
West Virginia, baby. Anyway, so I'm taking Syracuse. I don't know how close it's going to be, but give me Colin McCord, man. That guy, Ohio State made a mistake running.
They
that
didn't
guy.
make a mistake.
Okay, if you're going on a FanDuel's, Cal McCord's at 299. Take the over there. Take the over for the total points at 58. Go ahead and put those together. For
I think we need to do an after show about our betting picks and what we would bet.
After last week, I don't want to talk about our
Everybody's like, "Ah."
Yeah.
All right, final
Yeah,
game of
it's
the
not fun.
week.
Get a big waiver.
Landon, the legend, did not get this one on our list, but I'm going to assume that he picks Tennessee
Of course.
because he always
Over
does.
Arky?
Although he did
Yeah.
pick Florida over Tennessee last year, by the way, and Florida did win.
And he had to sleep out in the driveway.
He did. They're like, your 4-year-old
At
ass is
3 years,
going straight
at 3
to
years
the
old, they
backyard.
tossed him a blanket and then a pillow. Said, "Get your ass out of the house."
Make him tough. Make him tough.
All right, so
That's why
he's.
That's why he won last week.
That's right.
Yeah. It's
So
true.
ChatGPT does tell me that
Maybe
Joe
not.
Milton III is the fucking quarterback. Excuse my language. So anyway, I know, right?
offended.
ChatGPT's got me so mad, dude.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Do your own homework, you lazy
Exactly.
bastard.
Next time, put in college football.
That's it.
2024.
We're rehiring the people in the back room. Starting next
Where's
week.
Bear?
We're back to
Where's
having people in the
Bear?
back room.
Is he
Yeah.
fired from ESPN? We can pick him up.
We can pick up Bear. Hey, call Bear. You can
Fox
do-
got him. Fox got him.
You got him? Yeah, that's because of the stickers.
I'm going to say Tennessee. Tennessee does have probably the most dynamic offense in the country. You can make some.
They didn't show
you
it
can-
last week.
You can
They
say
didn't have to.
Yeah, you can say Alabama might. You can say Miami's looking blah 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 whatever. But Tennessee, I mean, I think that they are in the right position right now to make a run for the SEC championship. But you got Arkansas, who they're losing some games, but they're not losing that bad, right?
But they haven't been able to finish in the games that they've been up
Yeah.
They totally blew up.
And that's why you
Sounds
gotta
like
say,
Rooster.
That's why you gotta say Tennessee's gonna win by 20 on this one.
I
man.
was about to say that's what she said.
I think Tennessee wins this
the
game,
record,
so
I
we're just
always
gonna stick
finish.
with that.
I'm
Rooster,
sure you do.
Even if it's at halftime.
Rooster, are you going with the boys in Arkansas, or are you gonna stick with Landon's favorite team, Tennessee?
You know what? Let's put a little drum into this one because I think Tennessee's about due for a little smack of reality. And Arkansas has been coming out of the gates fast.
Telling you, yeah.
The last couple weeks. Tennessee by 20.
I said the same thing. All right, so we're right on the same page. West Virginia Mountain Mama Jama Jama. Who you got, my man?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. All right.
Yeah, that
Is
was
there a
an
reason
easy
why?
call.
They're just better.
No, they're better. They are a fucking good team.
They are. a good
What
team.
I'm worried about is that, honestly, Tennessee run defense has not been tested. It's going to be interesting just to see that play out this week. But in the long run, Arkansas doesn't have the guns. The Bobby motorcycle doesn't have
Petrino?
it in him. Yeah, he doesn't have it in him this week.
Oh, neck brace. Strawberry nose.
Mr. Coed.
Rebel. Who you got in this game? Tennessee,
It's a lot of
Arkansas.
nicknames
So
in the
Tennessee they're at Arkansas, then they are at home against Florida, home against Alabama. That's their next 3 games. Mentally it's hard to want to get up for certain games that you really don't give a damn about. I'm sorry, Tennessee don't give a damn about the Arkansas game from an emotional perspective. They want to kick the crap out of Florida. They want to kick the crap out of Alabama. They win the game. Tennessee wins the game. The spread's 13.5. I think this game ends up being somewhere between 10 to 14 points. I wouldn't want to bet this game because, Arkansas is better. They are improved. But, again, I don't think Tennessee showed their hand against Oklahoma. I think they did what they needed to do to win the game. And then they get past at Arkansas, which is a hard place to play. And then they've got a couple home games in Knoxville, and that's going to determine how their season goes. So the Volunteers win this game.
All right, Sheiks. Tennessee, Arkansas. You get the final word on this.
I totally went orange, and I hate that color. It does not look good on me at
So
all.
Arkansas.
I went with Tennessee.
All right.
I thought that was an easy pick, and plus,
it is.
I went with my heart because of Landon.
Yes, and you got
No, not at all. I'm just
So
kidding about that.
the thing about this week of football is that there's no top 25 matchups except for the Texas A&M Missouri game, and I didn't even put Texas A&M as in the top 25. Are they in the top?
They are.
They're number
depending
20.
on which poll you look at.
Okay. That's it. So we were struggling. I was struggling to find top 25 matchups this week. For us to talk about, I just chose the best games I could find.
Those are cool games.
Those are good games,
and,
yeah.
And even if you look at one more, you look at Clemson, Florida State. Like it's got a weird vibe to it. Okay, and I would say that don't be surprised. The spread is 14.5. Don't be surprised if this one turns into a brawl.
Florida State has a brawl with Clemson.
I'm sorry, is DJ Alphabet playing?
Yeah, that's the thing. That backup quarterback
yeah.
could come in and become. Didn't Travis Hunter do that? Didn't he come off the bench and become the guy for?
So weird, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how Travis Hunter became who he was. Not Travis Hunter. I'm sorry.
Yeah, who?
Jordan Travis. Jordan Travis. When I think he came off the bench for Florida State like midway through the year, and then he
Yeah, that's
became the
true.
guy.
Yeah, good
So
point, yeah.
Norvell can recruit. I mean, I'm not writing him off yet. So there's no reason to think that backup might not come in. And by the way, and
You know that.
Clemson ain't prepared for him.
Yeah, thinking about that, it is true because you have a lot of really good talent on the Florida State team.
Yes,
you do.
They just might need
Somebody to throw them the ball accurately.
a new fire under their
To make the run game
fire
relevant.
under their tail. You know,
Yeah.
they need fire under their butt.
The bottom line is DJ Alphabet lost that team.
Yeah,
So
And Clemson doesn't know what to expect of this guy.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Right? I mean, they don't have game film on this guy.
good point. All right, so
I think this is going to be closer. Just for
It's
shits-
either really close
Where's
or
the game at?
just for giggles. What's that?
Where's the game at?
Florida State.
Tell us.
all right, we're gonna make this really quick.
Clemson wins the game.
Yeah.
It's closer than it should
We
be.
weren't even supposed to talk.
We were not
about
even talking about that
I
game.
just brought it up because I just said it's a fun game and has been in the past. Go ahead.
All right, so
Close us out after 4 hours of podcasting.
I know we've been going a long time, so
But it's been entertaining.
Does anyone have a what the fuck?
Yeah.
Well, then
I
give
do.
it to me, man.
As a competitor, what's that supposed to mean?
No, I love your what the fuck.
As,
I'm gonna
as a
pee my
competitor,
pants.
you have teams that you just don't like, and you respect them. But you don't hug them and saying kumbaya, like, oh, we got in. The Mets pulled a miracle against the Braves yesterday in the first game. The Braves win the second game. They both get in the playoffs, and they're hugging it out on the field. Piss on that. The Braves hate the Mets. Take your ass back to New York, and we'll play you again in a few weeks if you're good enough, and if we're good
Damn,
enough.
homie.
So get out of here with all that garbage. You're your rivals, in-divisional rivals. You send them away and say, "Good, hey, you pulled one out of your ass in the first game, so now you rested us and you allowed us in. I can respect that. But at the end of the day, take your ass back to New York." And I've got a Mets fan sitting at the table, by the way, and I think he can probably respect what I'm saying right now. At the end of the day, get it going. Don't sit there and be hugging it out on the field
That's
afterwards.
weird. That was
That's
weird.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost like who would you say the Dodgers' biggest rivals are? The Giants.
Yeah.
Okay,
sure.
so it'd be like the Giants and the Dodgers play a doubleheader. They both get in the playoffs and they're all hugging it out.
Oh, hell
that
no.
shit ain't happening.
They would shoot each other.
Exactly. That's the
Thank you.
point.
That's because
What the fuck? What the
the
fuck?
fuck?
Mets and-
Yeah.
Braves.
I'm just
Braves.
gonna talk about that just for a second. Because the Atlanta Braves have no reason to hate the Mets because they swamped them in the 90s when the Mets had really good games. The Atlanta Braves have no reason to hate the Mets. The Mets have every single reason to hate the Braves since Chipper Jones all the way to present. Okay? So the fact that you're saying Atlanta hates the Mets, no, you don't. You should love the Mets. You beat them every single playoff, every single ALDS, or NLDS. No, you love
No,
the
we
Mets.
hate the Mets. Piss on
Whatever.
the Mets.
You should hate the
I would say,
Phillies.
don't the Braves pretty much hate everybody anyway?
I'm just saying.
No.
The Mets
Yeah, they
hate
do.
the Braves. The Braves.
Okay, so that's fine. I'll play along.
Yeah.
The Mets hate the Braves. You don't hug it out on the field after the
I
game.
mean, you hug it out after we hit a
No.
game-winning home run to win
pause.
to get in the playoffs, and then go play the easy Brewers instead of the Padres. Good luck tonight. You guys are.
We're down 2-0 right now.
See you in the. Oh, maybe.
All right, Chief, what's your what the fuck?
My what the fuck is so sad. You guys can cry with me. Okay. My what the fuck was,
we choose to drink.
my what the fuck was Baker Mayfield.
Are y'all still podcasting out here?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And Tom Brady starting their own little rivalry now. So Tom Brady goes in there to broadcast, finds out Baker Mayfield's trashing him early in the week and saying that he made it a stressful locker room when he was the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Tom Brady comes in and says, what's stressful is not getting a Super Bowl win. And if I want to have fun, I'm taking my kids to Disney World.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Anyone else with a what the fuck?
You gotta have one, man. You gotta get yourself right.
I don't have
You're
any,
coming up short in the end.
I don't have any what the fuzz, but I do want to shout out to all the people who's helping out the folks in
Absolutely.
in Western Carolina and
yeah.
East Tennessee, the National Guard, the volunteers. One thing that's not getting put out there, it's kind of pissing me off, is there is a lot going on in those places that are helping people, and it's not getting showed. All we're seeing is constant pictures of devastation, and somehow it turns political for these fucks out there on social media. But I do want to give a shout out to everybody who's out there busting their ass and helping these people. And it's a long road ahead, but it's great to have people like that to do that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, so luckily we're here and not watching a stupid political debate, by the way. So thank you all for joining Guys at the Bar Talking Sports this week. Does anyone else have something to say, or should we go ahead and close this thing up?
Let's close it.
All right, thank you all for joining Guys at the Sports. Keep on coming back every week for more of the best sports talk in the country. Thank you for joining Guys at the Bar Talking
Sports.